Today we are going to do something a little bit different, crochet. And this is specifically for anybody who would like to make. Hi, good morning. It's Michelle over at Hesketh Emporium again, coming from the four-poster bed. Rest morning, I hope, for a while anyway, before I have to get up and do a bit more sewing of scrubs for the NHS. So I have got a project today specifically to crochet something for our Headbands for Heroes UK campaign that I started last week, and it's doing really well, and I've added a few more products onto the website that anybody who's a frontline worker or a key worker can go and order at heskethemporium.com or through the Facebook group Headbands for Heroes UK. So I'll show you what I've made, and then I'll move the camera down so that you can see what I'm going to do. I'll try and do this as best I can. This is just the way I make them. They can be done in any way you prefer. But here's a couple of the headbands I have made already. So, hello. Sorry. This one is in a very bright sort of orangey color with some lovely purple buttons. And as you can see, these ones are designed for you to put your ponytail through, which is rather nice. And also your bun. So I will put those up on the website, and there's a post about them on Facebook already. So that's what I'm going to attempt to show you today. Here's another one, which is one of my favorites, and that is for those who like a little bit more of a frilly design. So what you need to make these is really simple. If you have any elastics, that's good. Hair bands, some of you will call them, hair elastics. So that's what you need to start off with. Doesn't matter what thickness it is. If it's a thinner one than this, that will work just as well. If you don't have any of these, you could get away with using just a ring of chain stitch, but then you'd probably only get it over a ponytail, whereas this is good because it stretches to allow it to go over a bun in your hair. So that's really good. Hi, hubby. Hubby's just coming in with a cup of coffee for me, so hi, say hi, Mark. Put your face here. Say good morning to my face.
Hello,
live
everybody.
Stream. Thank you, sweetie. So in order to make that, apart from a really nice cup of coffee, you need your elastic band as a starting point, some yarn. Now, the yarn that we use is 100% cotton, and the reason is that you can then wash this at very high temperatures, and it makes it sterile and better for the hospitals and the key workers. So they should be getting these and washing them every day with the rest of their PPE to make sure that they are nice and clean. So this one is a double knit. Most of the cottons don't come in much other than double knit. So a double knit and a crochet hook. I haven't found a particular size. This pattern is really, pardon me, all about your tension and whatever you like to crochet with. So I'm using today a 4.5, but yesterday I used a 3.5, and I've also used a 4. Just looks a little bit different when you make it. So this is not a pattern that you have to be terribly strict with. So you've got your hook, you've got your elastic band, and you've got your yarn. I am now going to move the camera down a little bit so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. And I'll attempt to make a pattern, but really, if you can crochet a little, this probably isn't going to be a problem for you. You want a little tail, about 20 centimeters, 25 centimeters. It doesn't matter terribly much, but you're going to use that tail and keep it to sew your buttons on. So keep that one handy. So now what we're going to do is take our elastic band, yarn in the other hand, and we're going to put our hook through the center of the elastic and then we're going to hook our yarn and pull it back through, and then we do a single crochet to hook it on. So you've now got a little single crochet which is surrounding your elastic. I do another one of those. I repeat that with both the strands of my yarn. So I've now done another single crochet, and then I let go of the tail so I don't crochet with it. Commonly made mistake with me especially. And now all I'm going to do is continue around the entire elastic, encasing it in single crochet. Now I will apologize right now because I am absolutely terrible with crochet terminology. I've crocheted with so many different books from so many different places that I no longer know which is which. So I'm going to just show you what it is, and then I will talk to you about that. So here you can see I'm going around, and at the moment there's a few gaps. What you can do is just push them up. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if there are gaps in your stitches. They just need to be closing your ring. So just continue doing your single crochet. I should try and do this with my finger down a little bit so you can see. Continue all the way around your elastic band. Now, for the purposes of this, so we don't take forever, I'm probably not going to compact them as much as I would normally, just so we can get to the second round. So the principle of this is similar to amigurumi, where you just go around and round and round in a continuous circle until you have a shape. Okay, so I've now gone all the way around. You can see on this side here, I've compacted it quite. I've pushed the stitches together closer. And on this side, I haven't yet. So if you want to, you can just push them around until you are happy that you've got enough stitches. Basically, guys, this pattern is just do what you like. You know, there's no hard and fast rules here. This is just a guidance. This is not a pattern as such. So I'm going to fit in a few more, and then I can do round 2. So this is your round 1. You are encasing the elastic in single crochet. So I've got to the end now. I'm not going to go any further than that. And now I am going to take my hook and I'm going to go through the first stitch on my ring, my starting single crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch to form a ring. So I've now finished that and I've now got a ring. So now we're on to the second round, and this is absolutely entirely up to you how you do this. So I'm going to do 3 chain because I'm going to do trebles. Okay, what's a treble? I don't know, sorry. Anyway, I'm going to do 1 there, then I'm going to hook my yarn, put it back into the base of the same stitch, pull it through, hook over 2, and hook off another 2. I'm going to do that into every stitch all the way around. So I'm doing a single, no, sorry, not a single, I mean 1 stitch in each single crochet, and then I'm going to do 2 stitches into the next stitch. So you're going to do a single and then a double, a single and then a double into each of your stitches all the way around. So the principle applies no matter what stitch you use. So whether you're using a half treble, a double treble, the principle is the same. It'll just look different at the end. So you are free on this pattern to just create and do whatever you like. So I'm doing a single stitch in the 1 stitch, and then I'm doing a double into the next stitch all the way around. So I'm going to turn it, this is the front, I suppose, really, so you can see that. And I carry on doing that all the way around. This is going to get more and more full and therefore more sort of frilly as you go. So if you don't like that and you want it to be more of a flat design, a bit more like this one is very flat. So you can see it's got very little frill on it at all. And that one is probably 2 singles and then a double, 2 singles and a double. So you will work that out according to your tension and the thickness of the yarn and the thickness of the hook that you're using. So I'm going to just keep going. And actually, when you get to the end, you are going to slip stitch into the top of your 3 chain or your 1 or your 2 chain, bearing in mind the length of your chain is the same height as whatever stitch you do. So if you're doing a single crochet, do a single chain. If you're doing a half HDC, then you can do 2. And if you're doing a treble like I'm doing here, you would do it with 3 chain. So keep going all the way around. And the other factor that will change how frilly this is how many how many single crochets you did all the way around initially. So the more you squash them together, the more it's going to create the frilly effect. So that is a design choice, and or by accident sometimes with me. And it also depends on how much yarn you've got. If you haven't got much yarn, don't waste it on doing too many stitches. Just go ahead and do as few as you can. Now, the reason I like doing it with these is A, it's quick, and B, it makes your face mask holder a little bit wider. So when you put it onto your head, it stretches. When the button's on, it stretches like this. And you need it to be 5 inches at least from side to side. Otherwise, your head mask, your face mask tabs, or the elastics that are going to loop over the buttons won't actually reach. And it's going to pull your face mask really tight onto the face, which is not what you want, because at the end of the day, these are designed to help you relieve the pressure and the pain and the suffering on your ears. And you don't want to just transfer that now onto your face instead, because after a full day wearing a face mask, I cannot imagine how awfully uncomfortable it is. I've seen some of the pictures on the internet, and it's just heartbreaking, really. So for all of you people out there working tirelessly to combat this terrible COVID-19, we are just beyond grateful. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this work with Headbands for Heroes UK, is to show our appreciation to each and every one of you. So I've got to the end, and I am now going to slip stitch into the top of my first treble, which is your 3 chain, and I'm now finished. I've got a completed circle. If your tension is very long, or you've used a double treble or something that's longer, you might be able to stop right here and just finish it off. I sew 1 button onto this side with this thread that I snip, and then I use a little scrap and I sew a button onto the other side over there. So just like this one. Nice big buttons are really handy for this. They look really cute as well. So mismatched, I'm starting to really struggle with buttons until I get a supply in. So if you've only got mismatched buttons, they'll look really nice. It's part of your design choice then. So that is what you're going to do. Now, what I do is purely decorative. If you want to finish here, you finish. If you don't, you can now go and do another row. And in this case, I'm going to do a row of, what should I do? Okay, so you can do 4 chain, skip 2 stitches or 1 stitch and do a single crochet, and then another 4 chain or 3, depending on how big you want your little frilly edge to be. That's how many chain you do, and then you skip a stitch and you anchor it either with a single crochet or a slip stitch into the next stitch. So skip 1 stitch and into the next stitch. And what that's creating, sorry, let me get my hook out of the way, is this little picot or picot, or however you guys say it, edge around the top. For a more basic look where it's no frills, leave that. You could go and do another row of single crochet all the way around. That's another option. Absolutely up to you what you want to do. But I'm going to just finish this off and then anchor it with a slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, and we are done. That is literally as simple as it is. So let me show you again what I've done. Hi. I've gone all the way around my elastic using single crochet. I've joined the round together with a slip stitch to the first single crochet in the round. I've now encased my elastic entirely. I then do however many chain I need to form the first stitch. So if it's a single crochet, it's 1 chain. If you're doing a half DC, I think it's 2. And if you're doing a treble, it's 3 stitches, etc., etc. And that represents your first stitch. I then do a treble. On this one, I've done a treble all the way around into all of my stitches, but increasing as I go, so it gets a little bit more of a wave. And I've done that by doing a single treble and then a double in the next stitch, a single in the next stitch, and a double in the next stitch, all the way around until I get back, slip stitch it to the beginning stitch, and then do either another round of some other stitch or a decorative edge. So this one has just got the chain, but on this one I just did something a little bit fancier. And how I did this was I did a single crochet into 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch I did a single, a half double, a double, then another half double, then another single crochet, and that creates the bumble or the bump at the top, the little picot type edge. Then another 3 single crochets into the next one and repeat. Okay, that is absolutely, I just did that on the fly. So you can create design, look one up on the internet, do anything you want to create that design. And then to finish off your item, you sew 2 buttons on opposite sides. So you want to stretch it, because that's what's going to happen when you put it on your face mask. It's attached to the buttons here. It's going to actually stretch it out. So your buttons must be opposite to each other. Okay. So I'm going to try and write a pattern if you really need one. But this is a project where you can actually get creative on your own and just do what you want to do, really. This is your opportunity to contribute to an cause for Heroes UK. So make these, or we've got a different type. I seem to be missing the one. I don't know. I've put it down here somewhere, but here's a version of it, which is in a single color. And these are our face mask tabs. And that's simply a row of chain stitch. And then all you do is single crochet around one side, do a few extra increases around the end. So in this case, there are 5 stitches in the end, single crochet. Then you come all the way back, no turning around, you're just keeping your item flat. Then when you get here, you do 5 into this end, and then you go around until it's at least 5 inches long. and then you put the buttons on in the same way. And that one's really handy as well. I've put a photograph on Facebook of this one as well. And you can get a pattern for this anywhere on the internet and YouTube. And this is the basis for a bottom of a baby shoe, the sole of a slipper, whatever. So that's the same way you do those. So guys, that is it. I really just want you to enjoy making these if you can, and you're not yet signed up to help us save our era heroes' ears, then please do so over at Headbands for Heroes UK. And there is a link in there for where you sign up to be a volunteer and to make for us. We will then get them collected by our amazing group of volunteer bikers, and they will take them to the destination, the person who's ordered them. And we're doing really well after just a week. We've had well over 1,000 orders already, and long may that continue. So in crochet and in fabric, we've got some leather ones coming soon for the blokes, and something else, a bit of a surprise, which is being worked on at the moment. So thank you so much, everybody. It's been really nice to catch up with you. And for those of you that are joining us today on our call for Good Yarn in Wigan, I'll see you later. And happy crocheting. Have a fantastic day. Keep crafting, guys. All my love. Have a good one.